One of my craziest tour stories took place on the 2005 tour, Hieroglyphics crew tour. We were out with OC was a support, and I decided to bring my little cousin to sell merchandise. And he was like 14 years old, so he was kind of young. So we were kind of looking out for him. Everyone was kind of looking out for him on the road. And so he was kind of like, I was trying to get him an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? They tried to maybe, he could kind of end up in the business as well, And so he's on the road and he's kind of around everybody. And, of course, on a Hyro bus, there's a lot of weed smoking, right? But everyone respected that and they weren't, giving him weed and, they kind of just like, okay, he doesn't smoke. I guess we're probably on the road for probably like, maybe a month or maybe 2 or 3 weeks at this point. And so we're gonna go into Canada, right? We've done the Canada thing that we know, everyone knows, okay, basically, get rid of your shit. You know what I'm saying, leading up to going across the border. And so basically we generally will stop like an hour from the border and do a big cleanup at some truck stop and basically, vacuum sometimes and clear out all the stuff and then go across, Yeah, everyone does that, everything's cool. And so we go across the, across the border, and we've done this a lot of times. And based on the fact that some of the obviously it's brothers and a hip hop group, and some of us have dreads, they generally will mess with us one way or another. The last time that I had went across the border, I remember they kept on saying like, yeah, where's the dope? I just always remember this, and we were like, yeah, we know better, you know what I mean? And so, I just remember that would be something that they would throw out there just to kind of see where you would respond, you know what I mean? And so anyway, so now we're here at the border. I don't remember what crossing, but it was, I think it was in the Midwest, probably above Detroit maybe. So we're sitting there, and these things take forever. They go through the bus, they do this. And so we're sitting there for a couple hours, and then suddenly one of those, the customs guys comes through and says, who's the manager? Who's in charge? And I'm like, me. And they go, all right, who has the dope? And I'm like, okay, this again, you know what I'm saying? And I go, none of us, we know better than to do that. We travel all the time, blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, really, you come here. And they go, so they bring me in a room and they say, who is sleeping in the front bunk on the bottom, on the right side? And I'm like, who's that? Oh, that's my little cousin. Oh, they're really bullshitting me now. Like, wrong person to pick, right? And I'm like, oh, that's my little cousin. He don't smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? And so, basically, you ain't trying to pull one over on me, you know what I'm saying? They go get him, right? So they pull him in. So it's me and him in this little room, and there's like 3 or 4 of these customs agents there, and they're like, you have any weed? He's like, no. I say, he doesn't smoke. I'm like, he doesn't smoke, really? And he's like, I don't smoke. And they're like, empty out your pockets, And so he empties out his pockets, and there's a little bud of weed. And I look at him, and he goes, what's that? And then I look at him, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And he goes, where's the rest of it? And he starts to cry, right? And I'm looking at him like, I'm about to kill this kid, you know what I'm saying? And he goes, it's in the shoebox under the pillow. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Apparently, he had been smoking, and I didn't know, and no one else knew, you know what I'm saying? And because of the fact that we didn't know that he had been smoking, no one schooled him on what you do when you cross the border. You know what I'm saying? No one felt it necessary to school him, right? And so I'm just looking at this like, and the dude looks at me at the side of his eye, the customs guy, and he kind of winks at me, and he goes, tell me a reason why I shouldn't seize this bus and arrest all of you. And he starts crying more, and he goes, because they're great people and they're like brothers to me, and he goes to this, really heartfelt kind of thing. And then I kind of catch on what the cop's doing at that point, because he's kind of looking at me like, And he goes, all right, here's a pen and a paper. Go into the other room, and I want you to write why we shouldn't we shouldn't seize the bus from you, right? And then so he goes away, and the guy looks at me, and he goes, all right, man, relax, man. Don't kill the kid. He was like, it's all right, man. We're not going to do anything. He says, we're looking for Tony Montana, not Cheech and Chong. And that was that. He let us go, paid a little fine, and that was that. And I always will remember that part. We're looking for Tony Montana, not Cheech and Chong. And that was probably the craziest tour story. And all the while, he wrote this long, kind of heartfelt, like, letter, which I think I still have, and kind of, basically saying why they shouldn't take the bus, and they didn't, and we went on our way. But that was a big lesson learned by everybody, especially me.
Because of a lack of history, understanding of history, they find themselves repeating steps that have already been taken when all they have to do was pivot from what Dr. King already did.
Any obstacle or any form of adversity is gonna make you a better person when you come out of it on the other side. You're not gonna wanna hear that at the front of it.
Everybody should always aspire to be the person that they're not and do what it takes to become that person.
I had a bow on the bus, basically, like a long stick, basically a bow. So I just grabbed it and just started blah, blah, blah at the little, the controller for the air conditioning. And the only thing that made me stop was the bus driver was like in shock. He was like, no, what are you doing? Stop.